We are living in unprecedented times. No matter what industry you come from, we must all review, rethink, and reinvent ourselves. Are you an entrepreneur that is trying to adapt your business to the new norm? Well, you are listening to the 2020 Entrepreneur, a podcast that will motivate you and have you think outside of the box. My name is Hugo Almeida, and with over 30 years of being an entrepreneur, I am here to share and inspire you with my experiences and help invent a new you. Hey guys, it's Hugo Almeida here, and I'm ecstatic today because this is our very first episode of the 2020 Entrepreneur World. So a little bit about myself. I'm just an Ecuadorian kid who grew up in New Jersey, back and forth between both countries as a child, and it just gave me that love and passion for people, different personalities, different cultures, and eventually leading me to what I do today, global business. So over the past 30 years, I've launched many different small businesses, giving me a lot of experience in the entrepreneurship space. And you know what? From the bottom to the top, I gotta say, I think I've pretty much have seen it all and lived it all. From the good, the bad, and the ugly, of which I would love to share with everybody here in future podcasts to come. My background really has been built around corporate America, which is really where my career took off. Started with Mashusta as heading up a Latin American sales division to Lucent Technologies, then to finally Avaya before going completely 100% on my own. Today, I am the Chief Executive Officer of Abitronics, a company based right here in New Jersey in the technology sector. So what really launched me or kicked me in the ass and motivated me to finally launch this podcast, the 2020 Entrepreneur World? Well, COVID-19, a time where all of a sudden, business as we all knew it, I don't really care what industry you were in, changed. And you know what? It changed forever. The way we went about doing business once completely got modified. Chaos. I mean, quarantine, the pandemic. We had no idea what was happening. Forget the week. It was more like day by day. Early March, I started seeing the numbers spiking in the New York, New Jersey area. I was sitting back in my office thinking, wow, here we go again, another roller coaster ride. And you entrepreneurs out there understand when I say the roller coaster ride effect, right? But anyway, I sat back and I said to myself, you know what? As an entrepreneur, I'm going to dress up and I'm going to come into the office every day. I am ready to roll up my sleeves once again and just grind, something that we all know very well as entrepreneurs. I sat back on my chair one day and I started jotting down some notes. And I said, you know what? It's a time for entrepreneurs to really review everything. It's a time for entrepreneurs to rethink what they're going to do. And truly, it's an era during this pandemic to completely reinvent yourself. So like I said before, it doesn't matter the industry we come from, it was changing. And the new norm is here today and it's staying. The way we did business once is no longer how we go about doing business today. So there was so many small businesses that were closing shop, restaurants could not open, retailers and malls. And fortunately, we were able to continue to work supporting the government with PPE. And it is kind of one of the things we were able to do as a small business, which I like to call staying flexible, being able to pivot. Well, let me start by sharing some of my thoughts and some of my experiences since March to right now, this podcast in June. One of the things I definitely said to myself was, if I don't get off my ass and proactively start making something happen, and I had no direction, there is no business plan for this, I'm going to be out of business. First thing I did was think about what we all need to do as an entrepreneur, right? I came up with the 3 R's. We needed to sit down and review. We needed to sit down and rethink. And then we had to sit down again and reinvent ourselves if we wanted to survive. Review everything, every bank statement, every mortgage payment, every credit card payment, and obviously the P&Ls in my company. I had to rethink everything. Rethink about how I go about doing the daily business. Rethink about what am I going to do if we get no business and we can't collect all the people and companies that owe us money. And again, keep in the back of your mind, this still is a global crisis. That's what made it the most challenging. Sometimes we're dealing with challenges that are just domestic economies or global economies. This was global. This affected each and every country we do business with. That's what made it so challenging. So we definitely had to rethink the way we will proceed. And finally, you know what? You got to step outside the bubble. Yeah, you got to take that right foot and you got to step out that circle. You got to reinvent yourself. And that's exactly what we did. We started contacting every one of our suppliers overseas as well as domestically. We tried to understand how the pandemic was affecting them. Then we started reaching out to our customer base. Now, the customers, local customers, corporate enterprise accounts, pretty much were at standstills. What do? We started reaching out to all our government agencies in New York. Thank goodness we, as a certified company, were able to assist them. Listen, this is a cause where we wanted to do good. We wanted to get products in front of people that really needed them. There were hospitals that had no masks, which I could not get, and I couldn't believe it, but it was happening daily. People were wearing scarves. What's a hospital, a doctor, a nurse that has to wear a scarf and they can't get a simple mask, whether it was 3-ply or N95, Please, I couldn't believe this was happening. So I started getting on the phone. I started reaching out to all our international contacts, just like many other entrepreneurs like myself that are in the global markets. We're fortunate because we come out of the international space, so we have facilities overseas that also, like us, were reinventing themselves. We're also pivoting. We're also partnering with other manufacturing facilities to fulfill equipment. Now, obviously, we all know that sometimes, during a major crisis, there are opportunities for business, but that was not my priority. Our priority here at our company really was to stay afloat. That was primary. Make sure we don't go under. Make sure I could keep paying the mortgage bills, auto payments, and loan payments for my kids, right? That's priority number one. And number two is to help. How can we, through our contact base, knowing the global market and knowing and understanding international logistics, bring in product that we can deliver and help these people that drastically need it. And that's what we did. We reinvented ourselves. We pivoted the business. We started reaching out to all our manufacturing facilities. We started talking to all our logistic companies. How are you handling the pandemic? What are you doing? How are you dealing with all the bottlenecks happening? It was complete insanity, to say the least. The month of March, coming in from a tranquil Ecuador, being on the coast, looking out my window at the ocean every day, to a matter of another 2 weeks and the world turning upside down in front of me. Wow. It opened up my eyes. So again, the 3 R's were review, rethink, and reinvent. And that's exactly what we did. Through the month of April and the month of May, we were able to fulfill a lot of different products in the PPE industry for New York City government agencies that were able to place our products in the hands of those that really needed it, hospitals and different government agencies. So I am very proud that we were able to pivot. We were able to reinvent, rethink, review. And you know what? We were very flexible. And that is the key of an entrepreneur in a small business, being able to have that flexibility to kind of pivot, maneuver yourself, and then step out of that comfort zone outside of that bubble. So in any way, I just wanted to share everybody in a brief, short amount of time what impulsed me to start the 2020 Entrepreneur. And I'm excited because in the future podcasts to come, I will be sharing other phenomenal entrepreneurs. They will be here live with me to talk about how they made it through the pandemic, COVID-19, how they reinvented themselves. I know each and every one of them did the 3 R's. They reviewed, they rethought about everything and reinvented. And that is the key to being an entrepreneur in this new T20E world. So once again, I thank you, and I hope you follow this podcast because we got some great stuff coming. Thank you so much, and I am excited. Can't wait to have you listen to the next podcast of T20E World.